So on this week's episode of Be More Super, we've got a great guest. It's a musical guest all the way from Nashville, Tennessee. He is known by one name, a bit like Prince. His name is Troy. Troy, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you so much for having me.
And how is the weather there? Because it is boiling here. I mean, in Nashville, is it quite warm?
Yeah, we're in the same pot. We're boiling over here as well. It is real warm.
Yeah, I mean, as Brits, we are not used to it, and at the moment it's 30 degrees. So all I want to do is sleep all day, and I'm awake all night. But it could be worse, couldn't it? It could be chucking it down, and especially for your wonderful concerts in your cul-de-sac, which we're going to be speaking about very, very shortly, which I think is awesome. So many will recognise you from The Last Ship. And a lot of your acting stuff, but obviously you've turned now to music and making dreams happen through song. So how did it all come about? How did this musical bug happen for you?
The musical bug's always been there, to be honest. I started singing kind of right when I popped out, apparently. That's what my parents tell me. And it's just always been a part of me. Really. I started writing music at 14 and all of it was trash, but you got to start somewhere. Right. And by the time I hit 18, the song started getting a little bit better. And after my voice changed, I was kind of slowly figuring out how to, do the music stuff for me, but I kept kind of doing acting, and I still act now. But I kind of kept music kind of close to the chest. A lot until a friend of mine was like, "Hey, you got to go share this with the world. It's so good." And I was like, "Okay." And I kind of stepped out of my comfort zone, even though I've been performing. It was like, performing your own stuff is different than performing something else. Yeah. It's kind of like I'm stepping into a character versus the character is me. And so kind of to have that was a little cool learning experience to do, and it kind of just feels like home to be there now, and it's been wonderful, and we're still continuing the journey, and we'll see where that takes us.
So I presume over the pandemic, when obviously everything was all shut down, people always say that the creativity is at its highest during these times. I mean, did you do a lot of writing during the pandemic? Did you find that time to step back and actually look at your music?
I did a lot of writing. I did a lot of internal work as well, as like a human being. Kind of read a lot of books and just took the time to figure out exactly what I wanted as a person and what I wanted as an artist. And I had the opportunity to do these cul-de-sac concerts. And I saw all of my friends doing Instagram lives. And my dad said to me, he's like, "Hey, why don't you go out and do an Instagram live on the driveway?" And I was like, "Are you out of your mind? Are you crazy?" Awesome. And sing to nobody? I'm like, that's insane. But it was one of those thoughts that, right when you say it and you hear it, you just have to go for it. And I did. And I went for it. And then over the whole course of the year, starting in April, people just started showing up. And it gave me a really good chance to practice performing, to really hone the craft when there was no place to perform.
And it's got to be quite nerve-wracking as well, because, it's one thing performing in front of thousands of people that you don't know, but then performing in front of neighbours, people that you know, family and friends. I mean, how nerve-wracking was it to actually do these concerts on, your driveway?
It was, I'm not going to lie, it was a little nerve-wracking. It was a little nerve-wracking because, you can really, what I love about the intimacy of it all is you're right there. There's no hiding from it. There's no, I'm going to close my eyes and the person all the way in the back is going to just be like, he's crushing it. It's more like there's 7 people in this cul-de-sac and they're all looking at me. And that's it. Yeah. So it was cool to kind of have that.
Yeah. I mean, you're singing, and I suppose you can make that eye contact with every single person that's watching you. And I suppose that's the difference between, you know, the intimate gigs, as you say, to the bigger ones. You know, I mean, I've been to a lot of like intimate gigs, and the last one, believe it or not, was Keith Sutherland, you know, the actor. And he was actually really, really good. I know. I mean, I know that he's a massive actor and everything like that, but his music is awesome as well. Would you prefer going forwards to do an intimate gig than stadium gigs, or is that the end goal, to make it big and go on tour and do a bit of a Pink, you know, hanging above the crowds?
That's a goal. That's definitely in the cards for sure. You know, we're not gonna throw that to the side. I mean, who will turn down doing that? I would love that. I think the beauty of music and performing as a whole is that it's both. It is, you want to feel the rush of being in a stadium of 65,000 people and then being in a room of 20, because the energy is different, but at the same time it's very similar, because you get to feel like in a room full of 20, somebody in the back could say, hey, play this song, and there's no way that you could pretend that you didn't hear it. You gotta you heard it, everybody else heard it, and you gotta have to live in the moment with that. And there's something really cool about that, from an audience perspective, and from an artist perspective, to kind of have that intimate conversation and to be able to kind of, I don't know, kind of like go behind the curtain a little bit of like, hey, I'm just a human being up here playing music, rather than this icon on stage.
And
so it's both.
I suppose the pressure is also there, because it's one thing doing covers, you know, other people's songs, but when you do your own songs, the pressure must be there, because these are songs that you've put your heart and soul into to write, and then to perform them and to get that reaction from that crowd. That much must be that more special, you know, to actually get that positive, you know, reaction of the guy at the back saying you rock, you know.
Yeah. It's a really cool experience. Especially at first with the very intimate concerts, because that's what, you know, you start with. Nobody's going to be like, hey, you're new to this, let's put you, you know, in front of 60,000 people. They're going to, you know, you start at the writers rounds, and you kind of, you know, climb the ladder. And there is something really beautiful about having somebody come up to you after a show and just be like, hey man, I loved that. Thank you for sharing. You're like, wow, okay, cool. That made my whole day.
And, you know, one day, who knows, you might have your idol come up to you after a show and say, well done, that was amazing. So these things can happen. So your music has filled my house for the last week. My kids absolutely love it. And it's great for them to enjoy and dance and sing along to something that's not Disney, that's not zombies or anything like that. So thank you so much. But your music is so catchy, and the videos are fantastic. Mistake, I love the video to that. I think it's so well done. How would you describe your style of music and your style of writing?
Oh, my style. Well, I guess those are kind of two different questions. My style of music, I would say it's pop rock.
Okay.
I would say it kind of is at the intersection of pop and rock. And because I love the music that comes out today, I really do think that it's really catchy, and there's something in that of the cool instrumentation that's happening now. But also, like, I have an old soul, so I love like Elton John and Billy Joel and Queen and Huey Lewis and the News, and like I grew up listening to AC/DC and Johnny Cash and Stevie Wonder and Motown. So I'm like a big smorgasbord of all these classical geniuses of music who have kind of helped create me, I guess. and then mixing that with pop is really cool. And as for a songwriting standpoint, since I love the story songs that all those people have written, I really enjoy telling stories in my music. And also understanding that, hey, this is a song that I want people to be able to sing to. I want people to be able to remember it, and kind of taking that, let's take this story and have people really connect to it, but also like let somebody move and groove and not just have it be more folky, which is great. I love folk music, but it's I like to take a little spin on it and kind of bring it into that more like rock pop realm, but with those deeper lyrics because it means something.
Yeah, it's spot on. I mean, I think the music is fantastic and very easily listening to and very very catchy, as I said. And obviously, you've got a brand new EP out, which is I'm going to pop it up on the screen. Good old Calvin Court. Hey, and this is out now. Why Calvin Court? Is that where you live?
That is the street I live on. Yeah.
Is it really?
So
oh no,
it is. So people might just like show up at my house. Who knows? But it was the street that we did the cul-de-sac concerts in, and it's kind of an homage to all the other people who did this as well, who like went out and sang in their cul-de-sacs and sang on the streets during COVID and kind of brought all the neighborhoods together. And it's for them. And I know everybody I told on my neighborhood when I was like, oh, the EP is called Calvin Court. They were all like, oh, no way, really? And it was just like a cool feeling to have, because it was like, this is me giving back to you. Thank you for allowing me to do this and to share my music. And so for that, here it is. I mean, the bubbles on that EP cover are like from all the ideas on that cover. Like that manhole is the manhole in my street.
Wow.
And I and all those cracks are really there. And I photoshopped everything together to kind of like get all the colors, and then the bubbles. Kids would come and just play with bubbles all the time, and so I thought they were just like a really cool element to kind of throw in there and just capture the energy of the cul-de-sac.
And that's out now for everyone to listen to. I mean, what's the reception been like for this EP?
It's been good. It's been good. People are really enjoying the songs. And what I really like about it is each song kind of has a different flavor, which is good. So it kind of allows for certain people to like certain songs. Some people might really gravitate towards 5 Minute Friend. Some really love Unbreakable. Some think Guilty is iconic. So everybody has a different feeling towards it, but it all kind of connects in this through line, which is really great.
So when making this EP, how many songs didn't make the cut? How many songs have you got left over maybe to go on the next EP? I mean, was it a case of...
well, it was interesting because with this one, the first songs that we actually did with my producer, Marty Fredrickson, were Mistake and Foolish. Right when I got to Nashville, we did Mistake and Foolish, and then we kind of like put them in the back seat for a while and kind of just let it linger. And we all of us thought as a team, we were kind of like, those don't seem like single songs. Kind of come out and do a single with those. And then I wrote Unbreakable. And when we were in the studio, Evan Fredrickson and I kind of like really took it to the next level. And that was the song that Marty was like, that's the song. That's your first single right there. And he's like, it fits the time. Everything's right with it. And I was like, okay, cool. And so that one came out. And then Undercover, I wrote at the same time. It's kind of funny because it was like I wrote them and we were like, ooh, that one's good. We like that. Let's throw that in here. And then I'd write another like 5 I wrote. And we were just like, yeah, that's great. Perfect. Let's throw that one. And Mistake and Foolish, we already knew we were going to be on there. And Guilty, Evan and I wrote as well. It was kind of like a weird Like we didn't pick and choose from a list. We kind of they just kind of came out. We were like, this is it. This is the one right now.
And your partner in crime, as you just mentioned, I have seen the videos of you two together, and I'm not sure how many instruments you play, but he is just mad crazy, just talented. He is like the Paul McCartney of you see him play the drums, bass, guitar, keyboard, vocals, and everything like that. I mean, where did you guys meet? And it's great to see artists, because you always have some great artists, and they've got someone with them that's obviously helping them propel that talent. It's a bit like Elton John had what was his name? Bernie.
Had Bernie Taupin.
And so he's like your Bernie, I suppose. I mean, where did you guys meet? And I presume you recorded in Nashville, as you just said.
Yes. So actually, Evan is my producer's son.
Oh, right.
So right when I got here, Marty, he was like, "Hey, why don't you go down to the studio?" Because I didn't have a piano here yet. And he's like, my son will let you in, and you can play the piano while you're in there. And I was like, okay, cool. Cool. I met Evan, and first time we met, we were just like, "Hey, what's up? Nice to meet you. I'm Troy." And he was like, "Hi, I'm Evan." And I went to the piano room and I played Foolish, because I was like, "Oh, this is cool. It sounds nice." And I sang it, and I was very it was very a movie moment of I played it, and it was great. And I was like, "Oh, that was awesome." And I had the headphones in, and then all of a sudden I hear, "Hey, man, that was great." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, he's like, "I've been recording this whole time." And so it was like this, "Oh, okay." Okay. And Evan and I just have become really, really close friends, and we kind of hang out and just jam, and we've just become close. And Marty and I have played almost all the instruments on the entire EP, except for the saxophone and the steel guitar. And he's a savant. Both him and Marty are they could play every instrument in the book. It's just awesome. It's and they're great at
it. So being from Nashville, does that put any more pressure on you? Because obviously musicians funnily enough, the last musician I had on here was a gentleman called Jared Dickinson, who's like a country singer. And
cool.
The majority of musicians seem to, come from Nashville. I mean, does that put pressure on you when you're Nashville based?
I don't think so. At least I don't feel it that way. I think if anything, it kind of motivates me, because anywhere I go, I'll see an amazing musician, and then I'm like, "Ooh, you know what I got to do? I got to go practice. I got to go practice, and I got to go write a new song, and I got to do all this." And there's something really cool about it, because everybody understands. Everybody understands that, gosh, I've been struggling with this song and I can't seem to write it. And then everybody's like, "Yeah, I get it. Just let it just take its time." Or maybe just, you got to dig in deeper to it, whatever it is. They get that feeling, they get that struggle, and they're also willing to help. Everybody here is like, "Oh yeah, let's write together." Well, if you're having some tough time, you want to share it, and we can tag team it. That's kind of how it is. And finding a band is kind of easy, because everybody knows how to crush it. It's like, "Hey, I need a bass player yesterday," and they're like, "Oh, I got 7. Here we go," and they all know the songs somehow. Awesome. And so it's been really nice to kind of step into the music, which has been cool.
With a lot of artists now, you've seen a massive trend of artists that are self-publicizing their music, so they're not signing to record companies. They're basically doing it themselves and doing it very, very well. I mean, which direction are you going in? Are you signed, or are you self-publishing? I mean,
I'm not signed at the moment.
With the record? No. I mean, is that your aim?
No,
would you like to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would. I know that there are a lot of contract discussions that go into
Mm.
a label deal. Um, and what I did a lot last year was spend a lot of time trying to figure out, like I said, what I wanted.
Mm.
And I understand the quote unquote sacrifice of certain things. And being independent is great because you get to have a lot of leeway and you get to be like, this is mine. And I get to have a lot of saying. But at the same time, it's a lot of this
Mm.
and coming out of my pocket.
Mm.
And to have a team is great. Especially coming from an acting realm where I did have an agent and a manager and going onto a set and you have everybody working and it's to kind of see that teamwork. It's like you're building something.
Mm.
And for me, I can build myself and I can do a lot of that stuff. And I am just one person, and if I can create a label, I can create those things. But what do I enjoy the most? What, fills me up? And,
Mm.
if you look at the biggest artists in the past decades, it's like
Mm.
they all had deals. They might have not always had deals, but they had deals. I mean, Ed Sheeran became Ed Sheeran because he had deals.
Mm. Yeah.
Taylor Swift became Taylor Swift because she had a deal. And yeah,
Mm.
later on, it comes back to, oh, there's a legal battle with those things, but maybe that legal battle might have never happened because nobody would have ever heard you.
Mm.
And it's give and take, and you kind of have to sacrifice some things. And I think kind of going into that deal with a thought process of, oh, this is what I want, and these are the things that I'm flexible on, because I also understand that there is give and take,
Mm.
and to kind of be able to make the best music possible and um, to create a product that is both me and also more than me.
Mm.
And I
I
think
mean, what?
I think a label would help with that.
I mean, what helps you get that attention from the labels? Is it fan base? Is it the music? Is it the
Mhm.
whole product? I mean, how difficult is it to get the attention of the labels, especially in Nashville? Because they must be loads.
I think I think it's a lot of people who like people you know.
Mm.
I know a guy who knows a guy who knows a girl who knows a girl who knows a guy's cousin who's, it's very the music industry is very much like that.
Mm.
A lot of industries are like that. It's kind of who you know. Um,
Mm.
and it's also if you're willing to take the opportunity to go and do it, to take the shows and to continue to do the shows. I'm a big proponent of you never know what could happen. Um,
Mm.
I believe that there's a lot of stuff I do not control. And I could go play a show downtown and there's 7 people in the audience, but 2 of them are the head A&R people at Warner. Who knows?
Who knows?
And building, like what you said, kind of building the fan base. I think it is that. I think it is kind of having the numbers already makes it less of a liability for a record deal, to kind of, or for a record to take you on and be like, okay, I know we can already make money with this person because
Mm.
they already have fans. Um, and then there is that, and then there's also the side of just this person's really talented and just they haven't been heard yet,
Mm.
and we can make sure that that person can get heard. So
Well, well,
it's
well. I mean, fingers crossed you'll get that chance because the
thank you.
talent's there and the music's there and everything is there, and it's just frustrating. It really is because when you see artists that
Yeah.
you just think to yourself, you know, like I've got a friend that's in a band as well, and they're awesome. And you just think that their music is so much better than the majority of music out there. But that obviously is my
Yeah.
personal taste. And your
Hmm.
music and your talent of singing is a hell of a lot better than the majority of gripe that's on the radio, and you just think, oh
Thank you.
man, what are the A&R people doing? But let's talk about your music. I mean, Mistake, for
Yeah.
instance, it's
Mhm.
so well written, and a lot of artists do write about personal experiences. I mean, was the
Mhm.
song Mistake a song from experience, from the heart, um, or was it from something else?
I I think a lot of my songs come from there. Come from experiences.
Mm.
In some way, shape, or form. But yeah, I was Mistake. I did write Mistake. I remember I sat down and I was in my apartment in Los Angeles and I wrote the riff, the first. And I was just having this feeling of, and a lot of thoughts about a friend of mine who was in a relationship that was very toxic.
Mm.
And, and so I started writing the song from that perspective of somebody else. And as the song went on, I started to think to myself, I was like, do I have this relationship with this friend? I was like, is this the same thing? I'm just putting it outside my body. Um, and so it kind of comes from that angle. I mean, I think a lot of the songs and songwriting for me is a way to process and the way for me to kind of like, oh, this is what I'm feeling. I didn't expect for me to feel that.
Mm.
And then when we got into the studio with Marty, he was like, hey, let's cut this part, let's up the tempo, and then it is the song that we hear now, and it's like its best version of itself.
Mm. And it's very cleverly written, because when you watch the video and the part where it says, I think if I'm right in saying, you keep on lying next to me, or you're lying next to me, and obviously
Mm-hmm.
it means two things, or lying to me, or I just think it was very, very clever on how it was done, and yeah, I just love the video. I really, really, really do.
Thank you.
But
Thank you.
but yeah, so is there a song from you've written that is your pride and joy? I mean, obviously they're all going to be your pride and joys, but
Mm-hmm.
is there one song that you are really proud of that you're going to keep close to your heart forever?
Um, that's a good question. It's like choosing a child a little bit, but I don't have any
Is it?
kids, so I don't know what that feels like yet. Um, I don't know. I really enjoy Unbreakable. There's
Mm,
something really special about it to me, in its production form and its bare bones form. Um, and also, I really love Five.
mm,
I love 5 Minute Friend. Um, the riff is really fun, and it's kind of even on just an acoustic guitar. That song had a lot of different forms, and so the what I really enjoy about that song is also seeing the writing process at the end
mm,
to like realize, oh, this song took this long, and I wrote 5 different choruses to the song, and for it to kind of it took 5 choruses and a multitude of months for that song to just, oh, this is it. It's this. And to kind of feel that like we did it, we completed it is
mm.
it feels so good. It feels so good. Um, but Foolish, I mean, Mistakes, the song that brought me to Nashville.
You're going to go through all your songs now,
I'm going to go through all
and
of them. Like,
and it's like trying to choose a child. I mean,
it's
Unbreakable.
tough.
I've got to say the acoustic. See, I am a sucker for when you hear acoustic guitar. The sound the guitar
Mm-hmm.
makes when you change key. Do you
Like,
know? Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
yeah.
I'm a sucker for that. I love that sound, and I don't know why. I just think there's something pure about it, and it's you hear so overproduced songs, and I like
Mm-hmm.
to hear that acoustic, nice sounding guitar. But obviously, you're looking for this record deal. You're doing fantastic at the moment. You're producing great
Thank you.
stuff. I mean, would you consider like performing support for for the acts out there now, because I see a lot of very talented and sometimes better support acts than the actual main act. I mean, would you consider like supporting an act locally or nationally?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I love
who
playing.
would you like to support? Who would you like to support in concert?
Are we talking like big time? Big time, like if I was on a national tour with somebody, or like.
Okay, so your music, the first band that I thought that it would be cool to see you supporting would be One Republic.
Cool.
I don't know if that's a good choice.
I love One Republic.
And I saw them supporting James Morrison, and literally One Republic blew me off my seat and was so much better than James Morrison. I don't know why. I mean, a few years ago, I actually met James, and I really wanted to tell him, but no. We were performing support for him for a corporate gig, and I told him off because he was using my mic, and he wasn't supposed to. But yeah, I mean, obviously, One Republic, I think would suit your music. I mean, is there a band or a star out there that you would love to support on a personal level?
I mean, One Republic is a great one. I used to listen to One Republic all the time growing up. I still do. One Republic, I love the script. There were like their first few albums are like
Break Even,
incredible. Break Even, Man Who Can't Be Moved, Exit Wounds is like one of my favorite songs by them. They're like absolutely incredible. So them, I think Harry Styles would be cool too, even though like he's a little more pop folk and I'm like kind of pop rock. I still think it would be a cool vibe. I think Miley Cyrus would be kind of cool, because she's kind of like leaning into that more like Blondie style. I think that would be fun.
What about All American Rejects?
Gosh, there's so many. Sure.
Yeah.
Like
just
them,
get me on.
I would do, Panic at the Disco, Ed Sheeran, Coldplay. I would just, I think my music can fit well in there.
And how does one get a chance to actually support? Is it through the record label of the main artist, and then they get another act on, or?
As soon as I know that, I will let you know.
You will be announcing your tour dates
on with One Republic. Yeah, absolutely.
Who knows? So before we end this lovely chat, how can fans follow you? And I don't mean, well, obviously they can go to Calvin Court.
They can go to Calvin Court. Yeah, of course.
Look for the big eye outside your bedroom window.
Yes.
So how can people follow you? So we've got Instagram on the screen just there, and Twitter, and you're on Facebook as well. Yeah. But you're on YouTube, Spotify. You're basically everywhere. So I'm
everywhere.
Everywhere. I mean, what have you got coming up for fans to follow and to see?
Well, I've got all the lyric videos coming out for all the songs. So those will be coming out shortly. And then the Foolish music video will be out as well. So all that's being worked on. And there may be a little bit of an acoustic version of the EP coming.
Oh, wow.
Awesome. In near future. So I'd keep tabs on that, because that's going to be exciting.
Any live shows that we can watch? Any live shows coming up? Any more cul-de-sac?
Yeah, I have. We actually had one last night, which was really fun. And I've got a few shows here in Nashville. I'm not sure if they're going to be on Instagram Live, but if they will be, I will make sure to let everybody know on my Instagram. Just go follow my Instagram. But I got a few shows next week. I got a private show in Atlanta at the end of the month. Yeah, we're doing it. We are just.
And any plans to come over to the UK?
I would love to come to the UK. I would love to come to the UK.
The music scene over here is fantastic. It really, really is.
Yeah.
And you should make it a holiday.
How is it out there right now since all COVID and everything?
As of Monday, all restrictions are being lifted. So clubs, bars, hallelujah.
Nice.
It is good, but on the flip side, COVID cases are going up. Deaths are slightly going up, but they've opened it up because of the economy. Literally 93% of the UK now has been vaccinated. So we're going to get that herd immunity. And I just can't wait. I can't wait for venues to start opening. I can't wait to booking my tickets for concerts. I can't wait for the White Buffalo to come back over because I think it's awesome. And live, I think it's fantastic. I mean, I met him, and I was so nervous. Bless me. I got my ticket out and I got him to sign it. But what I didn't realise, he signed my name and address. It was the wrong part of the ticket. So it looks slightly odd. It really, really does. But yeah, I mean, obviously, with you in Nashville, are you actually locked down still, or is it a case of you're in a phased?
No, we've been open for a long time.
Really?
It's kind of been phasing, but we were open before a lot of the U.S. I mean, we had a lot of downtown, like they didn't do live shows and anything, but grocery stores, everything, like stores were still open. They didn't like do a massive shutdown. They did in the beginning, like everybody did, but it kind of like slowly fizzled out, and then live shows came back to Nashville, and I mean, Broadway downtown is like nothing happened. It's like 20,000 people on a Friday just show up and get sloshed. And then,
but this is what you need, because the problem is those venues have had no business for a certain amount of time, and unfortunately it's killing the industry of live music and performance, and as long as we're all sensible. But no, one day it's on my bucket list to come to Nashville, to go to Memphis, and go to Metropolis, which is all in like a big, like sort of big triangle. So I'll be
come on out
to Nashville and listen to the music and have a good time. But Troy, you've been a great guest. I look forward to everything that you do in the future. So just a recap. So Calvin Courts is out now to listen to, and a bit of an exclusive there that there could be a acoustic version of the EP, and obviously you can follow Troy on Instagram, Twitter, and every single other social networking platform there is in the world. But Troy, you've been a great guest. Look after yourself. Keep safe.
Thank you so much,
and
Brian.
all the best, my friend.